Good afternoon, this is Chrissy. Yesterday I posted on Facebook and Instagram some photos of my boho beads, and I had some comments asking if I could show how I made them. There are a lot of videos on YouTube about how to make boho beads, but I will attempt to show you my version. I originally followed a tutorial by chrissiecrosser, I think it was, and over time I've adapted it to suit myself, and just made a few changes to how I originally used to do them. So I'll show you what how I do them. These are some of my, I'll just zoom in a little bit to show you some of my beads here. And they're really fun to make, and they're addictive to make, I have to say. And I like the randomness of them, and that, you know, you can just let your imagination run wild and see what you come up with. It's fun. So I'll just put these aside and show you my method. I use these straws. They're paper straws, which I cut up into random sizes. Don't measure anything, I just cut the straws into pieces. They end up how they end up. You will see that when you cut them with your scissors, they tend to get a bit distorted on the edge that you've cut. So what I have found now that I do is I use a kebab skewer, just an ordinary kebab skewer, and cut that up slightly smaller than the length of the straw. So I'll take a piece of my straw and I'll just poke in 2 pieces of my skewer like that inside the straw. Then I'll cut my piece of wire. I'm sorry I'm unable to tell you the gauge of this wire. The label has come off it, but no, I can't tell you that, I'm sorry. But it's quite flexible wire, and I'll just poke that through the straw like that. Then I'll get a couple of these tiny little beads that I've got here and just thread them onto the wire and poke them into the end of the straw. And not only does that center the wire, it also strengthens the ends of the straw so that they don't collapse inwards. And that's my little trick. Now I've tried 2 ways of doing this. I have tried wrapping my fabric on first before I do anything with the beads and the bead caps, and I have also tried doing the bead caps first, and that's the way that I prefer to do it, is to do the bead caps and the beads first before I actually wrap the fabric. So we'll just do that, and this is the fun part. It's you can just let your imagination go, you know, go a bit wild here, and just do whatever you want to do, and each bead comes out differently, and it's fun to see what how it's going to end up. And I really enjoy. I think I want to use the red one. I really enjoy that. It's just fun. So that. I'll use that. I don't have a lot of beads, but a good idea is to deconstruct old jewellery that you can pick up quite cheaply from the op shop. I sometimes do that. So I'm going to go with that, and I'm not a bead maker. I don't know a lot about bead making, but this is just my method and what I do. And probably those of you out there who are bead makers may cringe at what I do, but it works for me and I have fun doing it, and that's what it's all about. So I'll just squeeze that sharp edge in a little bit. Not perfect, but they're boho beads, and I think that's the fun of them. They don't have to be perfect. They're just happy beads. So I've got that on that end. This end I'm going to put my bead cap on. Another of those. And that one. Very random. There. I think the main thing about it is just to have fun. It's a bit like, I find a bit like making the boho snippets. Just don't overthink it, I think that's the key, just do it. So there, you've got that. And what I was talking about before was that for me this is the way that I prefer to do it, and then start wrapping the fabrics. But some people, I think, do the wrapping here at this point and then put the beads on, but I prefer to do it this way. Now for the fabric, for the base of the fabric, I just use an old scrap of, this is an old bed cover. I don't like to use my good fabric that I'm going to finish the boho bead with right for the base, because it just wastes the good fabric. So I'll just wrap it a little bit to begin with just this old fabric, and I just start wrapping until I think that it's the thickness that I want it to be. I think that's probably about where I'd want it to be, so I'll just cut that off. Add a bit of glue to hold it, not a lot. And then I'll decide what I'm going to use for my finishing fabric. And I think I will use a strip of this. This is something I picked up from the op shop. It was a dress, and I think I'll use some of that. I'll just tear a strip. So then I'll just start wrapping that. I'm liking the way that's looking with those little frayed bits. So I'll end it in here and just add a little bit of glue to that to hold it. Now I'll decide if I want to put some fibres on it, like I have done that one there. I haven't got any fibres on, just wrapped the wire straight around the fabric. These ones, that one I've added some fibre to, and that one. It's just up to you. I have this fibre here, which I think the colours will go nicely with the colours of the bead. I'll cut a piece of that off. I don't think I want the green on it, so I'll chop that off. I have this, where is it? What did I do with it? I just had it in my hand a second ago. Oh, this fibre here. So I've cut a piece of that, and that's what I'm going to wrap it with. A little bit of that. Not much, just a little bit. And then the wire that I use to wrap the bead is a 0.5mm wire. It's very fine and very easy to use. So I start at the top of my bead, right up near the bead cap, and just start winding to hold on the fibres, and then I'll cut a length of it off, however much I think I'll need, and then if you want to add beads to that, you just do that now. Don't want that one. And then just keep twisting the wire in a sort of a zigzag way, just random really. I think that's the beauty of it. You just these little beads that I'm using here are sort of multicolored, so they look good. So it's a fun thing, and you really never know what you're going to what you're going to end up with. It's just, this is pretty. This one's pretty. Sometimes I even will, if I've got a lot of wire left, I'll also sometimes just go right up here and around a bead, just for extra, something extra. Just be a bit wild. So there, he's got a little knobby bit there which I might just cut off. Just a little bit much there. So that's how I make them. This, you can leave it there, or you can add a dangle to the bottom, and or the top, or wherever you want to add it. So I've got this little tiny piece of an earring here. I'm going to add that to the we can just open it and add that there. So there we are. A cute boho bead. So I might make one more. See how much fun they are to make? You need to get to the same. So I'll add those to my collection. It's looking like a glass full of yumminess now. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this has been helpful, and don't consider it a tutorial, just consider it as a video on how I make mine. So you may find an easier way or a way that suits you better, but whatever you do, have fun. Bye now.